Hey everyone, glad you're excited to learn a little bit more about our scanning technologies. We're going to walk through them step by step. So we have three of them. We're going to do, how this is going to work is we're going to have three successive videos. I think they're going to be about a day apart. This is going to be the first one. We're going to focus on one technology, just take a few minutes, get a little more detail on it. And then the successive days, we'll talk about the other two, okay? So the first one we're going to focus on, and this is right in our chiropractic wheelhouse, this is the HRV, which stands for heart rate variability. So either if you were older or a child that was a little bit older, I mean adult, you'd stick your hand in here. A child that was old enough would stick their hand in here. If they're on the younger side, we'd use what's called an ear clip or a finger clip, just because that would be easier for them. So the whole purpose with this is obviously to read the heart rate and the variance in between the beats of the heart. Most people have the idea that your heart should be exactly the same each beat. That's not necessarily the case, because if it was, you're actually not adapting to stress well, because you want sometimes for there to be a spike this way, sometimes for you to spike this way, so it can adapt to those different parts of the nerve system that can accommodate different stresses. And we're going to talk more detail about that. I'm going to dive into that using this graph. I think this will make it easier. So this, I know you can't see this crystal clear, but I think it'll be good to kind of have an idea of what you would get or what would happen if we had the scan, and then we'll kind of walk through this and make it easier for you. So here, I hope you can see this. Yeah, it's close. We can kind of see it. So this is a picture of someone who did this scan. Now there's a white box. Ideally, you want that white box to plot in this green box area. So when it's outside of that, that means there's too much stress on the nerve system. Now, the vertical axis here, the lower it is, the more stress on the body. So think of this, this is the best way to think about this. Think of this as your cell phone battery. If your battery in your body is really low, it's going to go lower, lower, lower. So just like your cell phone battery, if you're going down and you're minimizing it, you're going to be way down here until there's nothing left. And that's the way your body's adapting to stress. If you're plotting down there, is you just have nothing, you have no ability to adapt properly. Okay, and the key word there is adapt, and again, to stress. So with this, you have the vertical axis, and think of that as your reserve power in your body. And then we have horizontally. Now, when it's off the black line in the center, you're either going to have more what's called sympathetic stress or parasympathetic stress. So sympathetic stress is I'm running from a tiger, I have a lot of anxiety, I'm very stressed from that aspect. The parasympathetic is like maybe my body's too fatigued, too weakened, but also a lot of people, we want more of that because we want the body to be able to calm and relax. People are so stimulated in society in so many ways and so stressed that we do want them to be able to calm. And that's what this is going to tell us, is the body in too much of one side or the other, sympathetic to one side of the black line, parasympathetic to the other. So like this scan that was done, this person leaned a little bit towards the sympathetic side. Not a lot, but they did lean towards that side. So that's like I'm a little more agitated, I'm a little more anxious, and I wrote 4 words here. I put these words in here to kind of break down how this works, all right? So ideals in the green. Now, with this here, so right down here, and I know it's tough to read those, especially my writing, we have uptight. That's for basically the upper left quadrant. Someone's going to be more uptight if they land in there, like this scenario. Now, if there's a lot of stress on the body and they're really distressed, they're going to be in the lower left. That's the sympathetic side. Now, the parasympathetic side, that's like, oh, I'm exhausted if I'm up in here, or even if I'm down here, my body's going to be weakened. So in the standpoint of kids, like, so let's say they have low tone in their body, things aren't responding well, they might even get down to the weekend, or if they're exhausted from lack of sleep or whatever it is, they might land up here. But if they're colicky or something like that, they might land up here in this side, or if it's extreme, they might be down on that side. So it's a way, again, to measure how your body's adapting to stress. And it's a very, very neat way. This is kind of a gold standard for a way to be able to see how the body's adapting to stress as a whole. So hopefully we can do this on your child, and we'll give you more information on the other technologies in the coming days. And we'll talk to you guys again soon.